Yo, what's going on? It's your boy Don Thomas, back in here with another video. And here you have it, folks. Let's dive into today's topic. As always, before I begin, I want to thank you guys for the likes, the comments, the subscribes. All of it is greatly appreciated. Thank you for your support. Without further ado, let's go ahead and dive into today's topic. We're discussing something that for a while I thought was only affecting me, but lo and behold, this is actually a thing that is causing havoc on all consumers. We're talking about tipping, folks, specifically at the self-checkout line, right? So you go to the self-checkout machine, you do your own labor, right? All to be asked to tip at the end of that transaction in which you did all the work. What do you think about that? I do have a clip, of course, very short clip, not too long. Kind of goes into this in greater detail. Of course, we'll watch the clip. We'll come back. I actually have a few stories where I can share with you guys as of late that I've experienced exactly this and how I felt and how it made me feel. And then, of course, I encourage you guys, as always, to share your experiences, if any, down in the comment section. Let's go ahead and watch the clip, and I will return.
You may have heard of tip fatigue or tipflation, but what about tip creep?
That's when we were asked to leave a tip at a self-checkout machine. What? CBS 8's Brian White is live in Claremont with reaction to this growing trend. Brian, I don't like it.
Yeah, they're calling it emotional blackmail when we're being asked to tip in a situation where we wouldn't normally think to leave a tip, like when we're checking out our own items at a self-checkout. So I talked to a number of people today about what they think about this.
I think it's odd. The tip is for work that's being done above and beyond and doing extra. So if nobody's doing the work for me, why would I be tipping them?
509.
The rise of self-checkout has eliminated the need for customers to interact with employees in businesses across the U.S. However, it has not eliminated the option to provide a tip.
First thought is I would have to probably know where that was going, but if it went into a general pool, I would say it was positive because it would benefit all the workers.
Consumers are being met with prompts to throw in some extra money at self-checkout machines in airports, stadiums, cafes, and other shops. At a time when inflation has already increased costs, many are wondering, where are their tips going?
The companies I spoke to said that the tips are going to employees, but tipping researchers aren't so sure. Machines don't have the same protections as tipped human employees, so while the law requires that something called a tip has to go to employees, when you're tipping a machine, you can't be quite so sure.
What is this? What is this? Like I said at first, I thought it was just like, oh, this is just happening when I go. Not like it was only happening to me, but I'm like, I've been seeing it a lot more. As I mentioned, I told you guys I was going to share a few instances where this was where I noticed this was becoming a thing. Like it hit me like, oh, nah, this is a thing. And then I started realizing, did some research, of course, and saw that other people were like, are getting fed up. So there's a pizza shop that I go to, not too far from me. I usually go pick up pizza, and they have this tipping mechanism in their line, right? It's just kind of like a Chipotle. You start at the beginning of the line, you pick your pizza, you tell them all the things you want on it, and you pay for it at checkout, right? Pretty standard, right? So for some time, I've been going into this shop, and for what it's worth, it's ran by teenagers, right? Teenagers, young adults. They all seem pretty cool. I've been in their shoes before, in some degree or another, so I get it, right? So for the past few times, and more particularly the last time I went in there, right? This is a few days ago. I go in there, and it was a cool dude. He was cool. All teenagers. He didn't look too thrilled to be there anyway, but he was there. He was just doing his job. Cool. So we go through the process. He takes my order, gets the pizzas, exactly how I like them, right? Get to the checkout line, and mind you, this has always been happening, but this time in particular, I felt the way, because the dude was kind of cool. I'm like, all right, cool. I get it. It's a Friday. You don't want to be here, but, I appreciate you, whatever the case is. As they usually do, they ring you up. They flip the little screen, and then there it is in front of you. 15%, 20%, yada, yada, yada. No tip, this, that, and the other. So this is when I knew, like, wait, this was the first time. All the times that I've gone in there before, I hit no tip with no shame. Zero shame. Nope. Right? This time I felt the way because, like I said, the dude was cool. I felt them. I put myself in his shoes. Like, I felt it. I know what it feels like to be, you know, on the other side, on the receiving end of just a, you know, customer service job, retail job. And this was the one time I actually contemplated. But I still didn't tip. And I'll tell you why. Because it's the principle for me, man. Like, I actually thought and I left and I walked out, you know, and it sat with me for a little bit. I was like, hold on, should I have tipped him? And then I'm like, but I walked in. I picked it. I can see if I dined in and he made the pizza, I sat in there, he brought it over to me, you know, whatever, took the tray when I was done. I didn't do that. Nah, I walked in, I placed the order, I paid for it, I walked out. What am I tipping you for? Am I wrong for that? Is that wrong? When did we start doing that? Like, you know, like, and I saw this is a thing. Like I said, this is a thing. Guilt tipping, tip shame, you know, whatever the other names that they throw out there for this whole, you know, new ideology, I guess you could say. And it hit me. One of the things that it kind of, you know, why I validate not tipping in that certain situation, right? Because I'll speak on something else as well too, is because I think, for one, it should be the employer, the establishment, making sure that you, the worker, are properly compensated for your time and your labor. Prices are already going up everywhere. Cost of living is going up full circle everywhere. Childcare is going up. Healthcare is going up. Gas prices are up. Food prices are up. Everything is going up. You want me to tip more now? You want me to pay more for the service of something that I did myself as well too? Now, hear me out. I'm not saying I'm refusing to pay on human-to-human interaction. Like I said, yeah, it was a human interaction with the gentleman. He, you know, made the pizza, whatever the case is. But isn't it your employer's responsibility to see to it that your labor and your time and your labor is properly compensated? These billion-dollar corporations, you know, after they done raise up the prices, after, you know, all these, you know, shortages and supply chain, this, that, and the other, they're raking in tons and tons of money. Why are they not making sure that their staff is not properly compensated? Why is it on us, the consumer, on top of all the other things that we're seeing an increase of? Why are we responsible for coming in and paying? Right? Just like the lady said in the clip, it's like, yeah, I can see if it's going to, you know, another human, whatever the case is. Now, I'll speak on another situation. Another situation where this happened, where I did tip, right? Funny story, real quick. I walk into a Starbucks. This is like maybe 2 weeks ago. I walk into a Starbucks. Mind you, the Starbucks closed at 7:30. I think it closed at 7:30. I walked in at 7, right? And same thing. Young staff. I think it was 2 young girls, whatever the case is. High schoolers, maybe young college, whatever the case is. Cool. Again, I know what it feels like. And you never want to be the customer that comes strolling on in 5 minutes before, you know, the shop is getting ready to close with the cases. But I walked in 30 minutes before, right? So I walk in, I ask for the regular, let me get the caramel frappuccino, right? And she pauses for a second, she looks at me, and she was like, ooh, we don't have that right now. And I'm like, huh? What do you mean? And she's like, well, technically, I kind of closed down the machine already, whatever the case is, you know, because they were getting ready to close. And we kind of like paused for a second, and I look at her, and I look at the clock. It was literally like 7:02. And the store closed at 7:30. So in my mind, I'm like, and we kind of look at each other like, that's kind of your fault. Like, there's ample time still left here. I can see if I walked in at 7:25, 7:28, whatever the case is. But again, in that situation, I tipped because I get it. Again, like, you know, I have the ability of putting myself, I practice empathy, I put myself in another person's shoes, and I've been there before. So I know you never want to be the customer that comes strolling in 5 minutes before it's closed. But I came in with ample time, and you shut down the machine prematurely. So eventually, long story short, she does end up, like, you know, willingly, she goes in, she makes the one little frap, had to, you know, bring the machine back up after she already washed it, put the materials away, whatever the case is. And I tipped in that situation. That situation, I tipped an extra $2, $3, whatever the case is, no problem. I just appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you for your time. I understand whatever the case is, you're trying to get out of here. I've been there before. Some of us have been there before. In that situation, yeah, I'll tip. Yeah, I did walk in and she was doing her job. She made the Frappuccino. She gave it to me. I paid and I tipped in that situation. I'm talking about the circumstances where, again, specifically at the self-checkout line, you came in, you did the work at the grocery store. The other day I go into the grocery store, another quick story. I go to the grocery store real quick and self-checkout line, as I usually do, I pay. And this machine in particular, it didn't ask me to tip, it asked me to donate. Now, I've seen situations like that as well too, you know, donate to this charitable cause, or they'll say like, you know, round up. So let's say your price is like $10 and, you know, 80 cents or whatever the case is. A machine will maybe ask you, hey, do you want to round up to the full $11? The proceeds will go to some charity, yada, yada. I've done that before. And the reason I've done that is like, I like round numbers. Me personally, like I like rounded even numbers. So it's like, you know, I'll pay the extra, whatever the case is, and you tell me it's going to a good cause. Is it? Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. I don't know. But for my own sake, just for my own balancing of the ledger, right? I don't mind rounding up. Cool. So in situations, I'll do that. But I'm talking about the situations again, like they refer to in the video. What is this new trend where you yourself walk in, or you yourself, you know, to go to the grocery store or to a restaurant, and you're electing to carry out? I drove, I used my gas, I used equal, yeah, you use labor to do it, but I use equal labor to do it, to come in and pick it up and take it out myself as well too. I didn't ask for the delivery. I'm not saying somebody came and delivered it to me, whatever the case is. Yeah, I'll tip. Yeah, if I'm sitting down at a restaurant and, you know, the service is phenomenal, I'll tip. Sometimes I even over tip. I just don't understand how these corporations think it's right into guilt tipping us to do things that we never did this before. Was this always a thing? This has been a thing for some time. I've been seeing it, but I've been seeing it a lot more. It's definitely even growing more prevalent, and that's even the title of this video. Tipping at self-checkout machines becoming more prevalent. Now is not the time for this to be becoming more prevalent. Of all the times when prices are high on everything, this should not be a thing, folks. I just don't get it. Tell these corporations, and this goes back to my main gripe that I usually express, you know, on this channel, whatever the case is. These corporations, these establishments are getting greedy. It's greed. What's another word for it? If not greed, what is it? Somebody even referred to it as the modern day shakedown, right? You know, stick your hands up, give me all your money, right? They're doing that at the self-checkout line right now, folks. It's like, so now me personally, like I said, I've been saying no with no shame. Nope, 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 nope. Do you want to tip? No. Do you want to tip? No. If I walked in myself, I placed the order, I took it out with my own labor, I walked out, I'm not tipping, bro. Take that up with your employer. Take that up with your establishment to see to it that you are paid properly, so that way you don't even have to ask the customers at the end of that transaction if they want to tip. No, we don't normally tip in those circumstances. We tip when we go to dining. We'll tip our barbers, our nail technicians. We'll tip the valet, whatever the case is. All those are valid places. Please don't mix up what I'm saying. I'm not saying don't tip at all. Specifically with these machines at these billion-dollar corporations. Do not ask me to tip at the self-checkout line, bro. I'm not doing it. With zero shame. You're not going to guilt trip me into guilt tipping. I'm not doing it. No, 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 no. Tip, no. Do you want to tip? No, 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 no. Unless it's those one-off situations like I mentioned before at the Starbucks. Other than that, people, share your take with me down below, man. Have you been encountering this? And have you been guilted into tipping at the self-checkout machine? How do you feel about this? Have you experienced this personally? What do you think? Do you agree that these corporations need to incorporate that into their profits? So when they balance their ledger at the end of the year, however they do it, and they see that they raked in whatever profits that they rake in, don't ask people for tips at the self-checkout, bro. If you want to see to it that your workers are properly compensated, scrape off a little bit off the top of your profits. Don't tip us, the hardworking civilians who are already struggling for X, Y, and Z on inflation, to even tip on the transactions when we are doing the work as well too. That's where I stand on it. Curious to hear your thoughts as well too, folks. Likes, comments, subscribes, questions, concerns. Throw your 2 cents in the pot, folks. Let me know what you think about tipping at the self-checkout machine. I will catch you on the next one.